Okay everybody, this is my track guide for Iracing Zolder GT3 in the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2. So, bit of background, you can skip this if you like, it's just like extra information. This lap was a 127.832 and that's pretty competitive, and you may be wondering why does it look different. It's because I'm not on my computer at the minute, I'm not home, I'm using my brother's. Iracing grind never stops, clearly. So it may look different, and I've spent a week just trying to adjust because it's obviously like a different monitor, stuff like that. And I don't have the rig here, well I don't even have a rig, but like this table is really like loose, so it was hard to get used to it, but I think I'm near what I'm used to in uni, so I'm pretty near like the level that I am in usually. Okay, anyway. So aliens run a 127 flat. I have not seen anything below that. That is someone with 10,000 I rating though. I'm pretty sure it's on the GT3 series. I'm not going to exit because for some reason when I exit and you can't like full screen it again, it's so annoying. But I just take my word for it. It's 127 flat, so like alien. I do think I could get my optional best as 127.4, and that's very achievable. There's a few mistakes in this lap, but I will tell you where they are, of course. So let's get into it. Okay, so for the first corner, we brake sort of when we reach this white barrier wall here. We can brake before, and we want like a 60-70% brake pressure. We don't want it too much because the ABS, especially with the fixed setup, it activates pretty early, and it's quite annoying to be honest. You can't really brake too much without activating ABS. You don't want to hit into ABS here is basically what I'm trying to say. We shift down into third, and we can take this curb. I don't know what I did in this lap, but we shift down into third and we just try and open it as much as possible. Yeah, so I took it. I could have got on the power earlier here with less steering lock, to be honest, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty decent corner. On my Delta, when I was in a race, no one really caught up with me in this section, so I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. So, yeah. We can use the curb here. The track limits, basically, you can actually touch this gravel, but if you touch the grass in front of the curb, then it's a track limit. So just be careful of that, but you don't really want to touch gravel now anyway, from what I've found, because of the new gravel update. Okay, for this corner, I brake as soon as this orange barrier goes out my sight. That seems to be a pretty decent brake marker. And a mistake that I used to make back in ACC days, I used to like not open up this corner fully and sort of rush into the apex, but you should like be patient. Patience is key with this corner. You want to just open it as much as possible, to be honest. And we shift down into third for this corner. Second, you probably could, but it's quite easy to spin on this corner. You should really be on the edge if you're really exploiting all the time possible on this corner. You will find yourself like making corrections at the wheel when you're back on power. But we keep in third, and we just want to graze the curb and then get back on the power as early as possible, really, and use all the exit curb, but try not to use the rumble strips because that slows you down. You see how I'm very patient, just making minute trail braking input, as you can see. And you see how traction control activated here? This is what I'm talking about. The settings of stock are pretty aggressive. There's too much intervention, so it's a bit annoying, but you will probably smash into traction control in this corner, to be honest. Okay, brake marker here. I use the exit at the end of this entry sort of gravel path. It's not even a gravel path, it's an entry road, I don't even know what it's called. Anyway, we brake and we do a light trail brake and we shift down into fourth. I've seen some people take it in third, but I feel like that'll slow you down too much. We want a sort of a good mid-corner speed whilst also having a good exit. So if we shift down into third, we overslow the car, in my opinion. Maybe in other cars it's different, but in the Audi, I take it in fourth. You see how light the trail brake is, and basically we can use these little this little rumble strip here, but it does sort of bounce you, so I reckon you would lose just a little bit of time using it. Maybe you wouldn't. It's best to just experiment, to be honest. Just keep experimenting. If you try the same thing over and over again, you're never going to get different results, so keep that in mind. Just experiment, keep experimenting. That's how you find time. Okay, so to be honest, the track limits are perfectly highlighted for me here. So it's literally like a wheel width that you can have out, and no more than that. If you have more than a wheel width out, you got track limits, but you don't even you can use it, to be fair. It doesn't really slow you down, and it doesn't really affect the next chicane, but you will naturally sort of use this track limit. But that is a track limit, so wheel width out, that's it. Make sure you exploit all the track limit here, to be honest. If you don't, then you'll lose time, because you won't be having a big enough entry speed into the corner. Okay, we skip through here. Okay, for the chicane, I hate this one, but we have to do it. Okay, so my braking marker here is really this. It's quite early, to be honest. I feel like people brake later for this, but then it's sort of inconsistent. You either just monster truck these curbs and you get sent up, which I've done like a million times, or you could brake a teeny bit earlier with less pressure and it's more consistent. So let's see the braking marker. Yeah, it's about that post here. It's not a very hard brake, and as soon as you sort of start transitioning in, you want to release the pressure. It was a mistake that I was making in ABS. I was like braking and I'd achieve ABS and I'd keep ABS on throughout the first left of the chicane, and that caused understeer, and it would sort of trick me, and it would be like, oh, I need to take less entry speed in, but it's actually different. If you don't activate ABS, you can take more speed in. Okay, so let me talk to you about the curbs. So you can sort of graze this curb, but it can absolutely, it's like a moon booter. It will boot you up to the moon if you take too much. So the best thing is just to graze it, and then graze this one. And you see how I kept the steering lock left here? I want to show you that. So as I'm going over it, I keep the steering locked left, because now I've unloaded this tyre. Wait, no, what happened? No, I've loaded it up. So yeah, so as I transition, I flick the steering lock right, and that will unload the tyre on the right hand side, and then you can take more curb. If you keep a left lock over this, then you load up these right hand side tyres, and then you'll get a bigger bounce. So my mistake there. Okay, just cut as much as possible here. Okay, braking marker here. It's really as soon as you start straightening up, you don't want to smash into ABS yet again. You just want to sort of balance the corner. I can't get my mouse in the right position. There we go. We just want to balance the corner out. So we brake, shift down into second. Boom. And then we want to cut a lot of this right-hander, like a lot. I was not cutting enough originally, and I was like, well, why am I so slow through here? But if we cut a lot, then we open up the left a lot more. See how much I cut there? It's a lot of cut. You'll hit this dip, and that can sort of unsettle the car if you take too much entry speed in. And straight away we flick it to the left. If we don't flick it to the left, then we'll end up having a really compromised entry into this next right-hander. I hate this chicane, not gonna lie. I love it, but I hate it. It's you have to think what's ahead of yourself as well when you exit the chicane, because you have basically no time to react. Don't over prioritize the right-hander, but just aim for the middle of the track. Quick lift, hold second. And this corner is flat out. We just want to avoid hitting traction control because it's very easy to do. We just use as little steering lock as possible, basically. Cut this as much as braking marker. So as soon as this goes, this little 100 board, I think it is, yeah, 100, goes out of my sight, then I start braking. It's a little bit after it goes out of sight though, I've noticed. It's just a teeny bit after, and that'll literally gain you a tenth. You won't realise how much time you lose in this hairpin until you start experimenting with a greater entry speed, different trail braking, sort of like a lighter pressure. I thought I was taking it perfectly at first, and then I like gained a tenth, another tenth, another tenth, and I was like, what the heck? I was literally losing 3 tenths alone on this one little hairpin. Slow corners is where you'll probably be losing the most amount of time, because you spend the longest in slow corners. first gear, and we sort of graze this curb, but we don't want to get totally on it because then it bounces the car up, which is extremely annoying because then you lose exit speed. And as soon as we sort of get our apex, we want to start straightening out and then add in power. We can also use power to rotate the car. I'm going to show you the chase view for this one, to be honest, because I think my field of view, it's very hard to sort of see the line. Boom, that is the line. Where is cockpit? There we go. Cut as much as possible. Okay, for this, another chicane. It's just chicane Zolder. I've only just noticed that. Honestly, really good if you want to practice for chicanes, but anyway, enough of me waffling. So we brake in between the 100 and the little massive signpost here, and we don't want to brake too late into here, otherwise we won't slow the car down enough, and then we'll get a really compromised exit on the final straight. And we go down into second. And you see, even before I start turning, I'm sort of gradually releasing that brake pressure, because at 80%, especially in this car, you smash into ABS as soon as you add any sort of steering lock. To sort of counter that, we release just a little bit and then we add steering lock. And we can cut as much as possible here. Oh, something I didn't mention actually. This left-hand curb is a disgrace. If you hit it too much, it will lose you like 1.5 seconds up to 2 seconds, could even be more, because it's like a moon booter. It's the same as the first chicane, so we don't want to cut too much. But cut as much as possible of this right-hander, because we can really straighten up the right-hander and then get a better exit. That is a lap, and now I'll shut up and let you enjoy it. Okay guys, that was a lap of Zolder. One thing that I didn't mention as well is that everyone is using the Honda NSX for split 1. So that's something to keep in mind. I don't know if it's OP, maybe some of you who watch this could tell me, but everyone who's doing like very low 127s is using the NSX, so there's maybe some sort of bop, because I think it is new, so I wouldn't be surprised if they really messed up the bop and it's just completely overpowered. But in the Aldi, it feels like I'm extracting quite a bit of pace. I don't really see where I can improve too much. I guess like a few, like the slash improve, stuff like that. But other than that, that was a lap. That was a 127.832, which is pretty competitive. See you at pole pretty much. Maybe not in split 1. You'd be like easily top 5 though. If you can keep this pace throughout a race, then you're going to finish really good. You're going to be on the podium. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.